Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of my favorite coffee fragrances that I have in my collection. I don't know about you, but for me, there is almost nothing more calming and warming and cozy than the smell of coffee, and more nostalgic. It could just be the inner caffeine addict in me, but I really love well done coffee fragrances, and I do have quite a bit in my collection, so we're gonna go through some of them that I really reach for the most and that I really recommend for you to try. Different styles and different price points. We're going to start off with Golden Dallah from Xerjoff. Now, this was actually the first ever Xerjoff fragrance in my collection, and it was also the very first niche fragrance that I ever bought when I started my channel. So this is going to be a part of the Coffee Break collection from Xerjoff, which in my opinion is not only probably the most underrated collection from Xerjoff, but also some of the best niche coffee fragrances that you could possibly smell. They are really some of the absolute best in terms of quality and just originality. It's not like a typical rose coffee, you know, what you're used to smelling. This really takes a different direction, and I love it because each different fragrance in the collection, there's 3, are inspired by different types of coffee around the world. So Golden Dallah is going to be inspired by Arabic coffee, and you're gonna really find that in the very exotic spices that are in Golden Dallah. A lot of very gorgeous spices mixed with this really nice kind of rich, nutty hazelnut. Surrounding this coffee, rose, and incense, it definitely is like a rose coffee scent, but it's just not typical at all. It's so unique. It has a little bit of oud too, but it's really an incredibly fresh oud mixed with this kind of like dry incensiness. It's not too strong. This actually comes off the most gourmand in the whole Coffee Break collection. It's definitely a very bright scent mixed with this really nice chocolate. This one to me kind of comes off more like a hazelnut latte with some spice and with a sweet rose. It makes it very dimensional and wearable. It's ambery with a nice sweetness. It's just so exotic and unique. I can't emphasize that enough. So unique when it comes to coffee fragrances. It's cozy, it's mysterious. I love it so much, and it's one of those scents that I will always have in my collection. Golden Dallah from Xerjoff. So next up, we're going to talk about Amore Caffe from Mancera. Now this is coffee done in a very sweet, kind of boozy way. Super, super delicious gourmand. This was a release from last year that really got a lot of hype, and I totally understand why. It smells like ice cream and warm espresso, mixed with this kind of like boozy, syrupy sweet amaretto and brown sugar. It's like a beautiful kind of vanilla and black coffee. You definitely really feel the sharpness of the black coffee in here, of that espresso note. It does smell super realistic, but also so does the ice cream. So it's very interesting to see that kind of contrast in the scent where you get this really dark, rich espresso, but with a very creamy, lactonic ice cream note. This is like Christmas bottle to me. It's just so warming. It reminds me of like the holidays at home. Very happy, but also very cozy, comforting. And it has a little bit of this kind of like cookie element to it that I really like, almost kind of like a Biscoff cookie, like coffee, ice cream, and a Biscoff cookie. And this fragrance, I love it because it's so realistic. There's nothing synthetic about this. It is a complaint that some people have, but in here there's nothing synthetic about this at all. It is super photorealistic, ultra creamy coffee with vanilla ice cream, very lactonic, very boozy, kind of fluffy. Definitely an amazing value for the performance too, because this is absolutely beast mode. This will last weeks and weeks on your clothes. You can never really go wrong with the performance of Mancera. So if you like very super realistic gourmand fragrances, you should definitely try Amore Caffe. And we love the name too. Always a sucker for the marketing. So speaking of beast mode fragrances, we have Sensual Instinct from Montal. And I wanted to highlight Sensual Instinct because I know that Intense Cafe, of course, is like the obvious option. It's what everyone talks about, but I feel like Sensual Instinct doesn't really get a ton of attention, and it's a beautiful coffee fragrance. So this is going to be roasted coffee beans with praline and rose with amber, cedar, and oak moss. This is so feminine and gorgeous. It's a super wearable coffee scent. Versus I feel like Intense Cafe can be a little bit much for some people, you know, such an intense coffee note. I feel like some people are either going to really like it and some people might not get along with it because you're literally going to smell like you just are a walking coffee shop. That's not the case with Sensual Instinct. This actually does get compared a little bit to Baccarat Rouge 540, which I can kind of see that comparison into the mid, definitely not in the opening, but as it dries, it does kind of share a little bit of relation to Baccarat Rouge 540, but it's Baccarat Rouge 540 with like a latte vibe mixed in. It's really, really yummy. It's a beautiful spicy rose with a sweet praline and roasted coffee. It gives me a big wow factor, and this is one of those scents too that just leaves a scent trail a mile long behind you. It will have people complimenting you, and it's so strong that you're going to get a lot of attention wearing a Sensual Instinct. It's sexy, it's confident, totally gorgeous. This is going to have people chasing you down the street to ask you what you're wearing. So next up, we're gonna talk about Espresso Please from Gleam London. Now this is a new house that I recently discovered, and this is going to be a coffee scent for people that want a true deep dark coffee with a rich kind of boozy chocolatey syrup. This also has a little bit of hazelnut as well. It kind of adds a bit of a kick in the background, but this is just coffee with a super dark, almost kind of bitter chocolate, like 99% dark chocolate bar. That's what we're working with in Espresso Please. Definitely a nighttime scent. There is a very slight sweetness in here. I do like the way that this is done, but it's really going to be for the people out there that want something that is also gonna make you smell like a walking coffee shop. Just straight up coffee and dark chocolate. Really just like a 50-50 split in here. It's artistic, and if you want to try it, you can pick it up over at So Avant-Garde and save 10% with my code ODERICA10. So of course we have to talk about Minuit at Demi by Fragrance du Bois, and this is also another one of the first niche fragrances in my collection. I actually bought this on the day that I bought Golden Dallah, and since then Fragrance du Bois has easily became one of my all-time favorite brands. Easily top 3. They're just so luxurious and bougie and feels very like next level in every aspect, from the packaging to the juice. Everything is just so high-end, and you just feel so classy when you wear their fragrances. I really love that it's a true, genuine luxury experience when you buy a perfume from Fragrance du Bois. And so Minuit at Demi, of course, is going to be the fragrance collaboration with the YouTuber Demi Rawling, and this is a spectacular, boozy, spicy coffee cardamom fragrance with pimento, with caramel, of course coffee, tobacco, and woods. It is so incredibly good. It is so well blended. It's going to be a little bit less coffee dominant than some of the fragrances that I've talked about. It's really gonna come off more like a subtle kind of vanilla latte. This is an extremely dimensional gourmand fragrance, which is what Demi wanted to create. She wanted to make the most perfect wearable gourmand, and I really think that she nailed it with this. Seriously, this is so elegant. You get this really nice kind of creamy spice as a supporting note with these gourmand facets. It just feels like a very fashionable person, you know, very old money, very elegant. It really just elevates your aura when you wear this type of fragrance. Very effortless and chic, extreme quality here. And in terms of the performance, the longevity is pretty good. It's going to be softer projecting, but honestly, it is so worth it, and I will always, always, always repurchase this as well. This is something that just really speaks to me. You can see my little dent in here. I'm really trying to like savor it as long as I can. It is just so beautiful. I guess the best analogy that I can give in terms to what I mean by Fragrance du Bois being an extreme luxury experience is kind of like buying jewelry at Forever 21 versus buying jewelry at Cartier. You know, it's like when you buy a perfume at Sephora, it's like the equivalent of buying jewelry at a designer, you know, at Cartier, where you get a very like full service experience and the packaging is everything. That's really how I picture the experience when buying a Fragrance du Bois. It's really beautiful. And if you guys didn't know, they're now available at Neiman Marcus. So they're not in a ton of places right now, but they are working on, I guess, coming into new doors, so you can try them in person. Love this. It's so good if you love like dimensional gourmands. you have to try Minuit at Demi. So next up, we have a fragrance from a house that has been getting a ton of attention and hype lately. This is Grandmaster from Mind Games. So this is going to be their take on a coffee rose scent. And this is really, really, really good too. And what I like about Grandmaster that makes it kind of unique is that you do get a very strong kind of ambery resinous tone right from the opening, kind of like a sweet myrrh. There's something kind of almondy and incensey in this, but really sophisticated with an exotic twist. It's a sweet jammy rose with black currant with a creamy roasted coffee that doesn't really come off too dark or too deep. It's not bitter at all. It's very sensual, very alluring. And that rose and black currant really brings a freshness to the scent. It almost comes off in a way like an espresso martini with rose. Very high quality in Mind Games, and this is extremely well executed. This is going to be probably the best like date night sexy rose coffee scent. It's very impressive. And you can also try this at department stores. So Grandmaster from Mind Games, but then buy it online because you can get it with a discount. So next up, we're gonna talk about Intoxicated from Kilian. Now this was actually discontinued, but I think that they brought it back. And I don't know about you, but I just feel like Kilian is such a cool house. Like they just have such a cool vibe with their fragrances. It just feels so exclusive to me in a way. And this is going to be a little bit more of a masculine leaning coffee. This does have a really nice strong nutmeg note with cardamom and cinnamon. It comes up to me very androgynous. There's coffee and vanilla and caramel in the base. It just feels like you're in a New York City jazz club. You know, the lights are dimmed low, and it's just one of those crazy nights out on the city that you just know are going to be filled with endless possibilities. And this is a must try now that it's back. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video with the fragrance of the Immortals from Zaharoff. And this is actually a perfume collaboration with Curly Scents. And she absolutely killed it with this perfume. It is sexy, it is boozy, it is gourmand, it is coffee and coconut. There is a really nice kind of tropical side to this, but at the same time being very gourmand and sexy. It has honey and rum as well. It kind of gives off this like sexy almond joy vibe too with the coconut in the sexiest way possible. This is so freaking good. Perfect for summer nights. It's not overly sweet. It's very realistically sweetened. Super well done. Honestly, in my opinion, it's going to be the best fragrance from the Zed creators. And it's beast mode too. This will also last weeks on your clothes. Like it will be on your clothes until you wash it, basically. You will be snapping necks left and right with this. It is so pretty and very unique to add a cool kind of tropical coconut note, but in a gourmand way to coffee. I think it's really, really good. Of the Immortals from Zaharoff. So that was just some of my favorite coffee fragrances in my collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below. What is your favorite go-to coffee scent? I would love to know what you think, and I would love to try it as well because I love anything with coffee. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.